Today, we celebrate the memorial of Saint Anthony of Padua, a young friar, an eloquent preacher, and he is the advocate for lost things, for those who lost their husbands. One time, someone approached me, "Father, isa lang ang santong hindi ko dinadasalan." Sino, sabi ko? Si San Antonio. Bakit po? Kasi pag mawala yung asawa ko, Father, ayoko na siyang bumalik. Kidding aside, he is an advocate of lost things because one time, there was this novice who planned to leave the community. He was exhausted. Unintentionally, he brought with him the Psalter of Saint Anthony. But Saint Anthony was looking for it because it was so important to him, especially in teaching students. So he prayed to God that it must be returned to him. And a great miracle happened. It was returned to him after this novice who went out of the community was so nakonsensya siya. He was so sorry about what he did, and not only returning the Psalter, but also he returned to join the community and continued his journey. After that incident, when Saint Anthony became popular, many people prayed through the intercession of Saint Anthony whenever they lost things or misplaced things. Yun yung background doon kung bakit nagdadasal kay San Antonio tungkol sa nawawalang bagay. Second, Saint Anthony is seen as in the depiction of his image carrying a book because he was declared, or he is a doctor of the church. And at the same time, an image of an infant Jesus seated on his arms, clinging on his neck, because one time when he was staying in the house of a friend, Jesus, this baby Jesus, visited him in his room, and it was seen by his friend looking at the keyhole because there was this radiant light coming from the inside of the room where Saint Anthony was staying. And Saint Anthony told his friend, "Never tell this vision while I am still living." That is why it was known only after his death. Saint Anthony was an eloquent preacher. The first reading tells us that Jesus Christ is always yes. He is not a no. He is always committed to fulfill the will of the Father. That is why the gospel is also encouraging us to give light and to become salt of the earth, magbigay ng lasa. He was an eloquent preacher that he has this courage to preach the good news to many people. One time, in Italy, in the place where he was preaching, many people are heretics and do not want to listen to him. The civic leaders even ordered that no one should listen to him. So Saint Anthony, with all his strength, while walking along the shore of the river, invited all the fishes to listen to him. And he said, "My dear fish, listen to the words of God." And thousands of fishes gathered in line, listening to every word that Saint Anthony was preaching, and many people were astonished about this. Namangha yung mga tao na ang daming isda na nakikinig kay San Antonio. And they believed that Saint Anthony was really a missionary of God, a prophet of God, and so they listened to him, and it was the beginning of their conversion. My dear brothers and sisters, as we celebrate this Eucharist, let us imitate the virtues of Saint Anthony, not to be discouraged in times of trouble, in times of difficulties, even when it is so hard to show goodness to others. Huwag po tayo mawawala ng pag-asa na gumawa ng tama at gumawa ng para sa Diyos, kahit na napakahirap itong ipahayag, lalo na sa mga taong tumutuligsa, mga taong hindi naniniwala, at mga taong malayo ang puso sa Diyos. Saint Anthony of Padua, pray for us.